All right, so I was just showing you how this could happen with numbers where we had some overlap, right? There's overlap in these, and so those go together. And so our least common denominator isn't just a product of the two of them, but it's something kind of in the middle. And that's what happened with these LCDs here. Now, our very last example here is a special case of factoring. Remember that we don't like to see leading coefficients being negative. And this, if we order the polynomial, looks like a negative x plus 5, which means the leading coefficient, the x's number, is a negative number. And so we don't like to have that, so we factor out a negative, and then we see that this is a positive, and what was a positive is now a negative, because that's what happens when you factor out a negative. And so remember, this negative can actually be incorporated into the numerator here. So we have a negative 7 over x minus 5, and we have a 3 over an x minus 5. And what we see is that these are now already like terms, right? So already as an LCD. So what we have is our LCD equaling x minus 5. And that happens when we factor out a negative. So that's something that I wanted to make sure that you'd seen before. Okay, now let's see how we're going to use that. Oh, we're not going to use it at this point in time, but that's just our very basic introduction. Now, the next time we encounter the whole idea would be in the next section, I believe. Let's see what we can find here and see if we had any addition. Nope. No addition at all. So that was just our last section there. But what we are going to learn in chapter 12.3 is what do we do now that we have these least common denominators? And what we're going to be finding is that we can then build higher terms, and then we'll be able to add and subtract fractions with least common denominators. So that wraps up the your turns and extra topics in 8.3 that I had skipped over on a couple of them.